Hey guys, it's Brian.
It's Barry.
And welcome to the Collecti-Bros podcast. Happy 2025. This is the first episode of the year. And we're going to start off talking about last year. Year in review, yeah. It's our annual year in review episode. We're going to talk about the podcast, things in the future maybe. We'll talk a little bit about, game of the year, but we don't want to make it all about that. If you listen to last year, it's going to be kind of the same spiel. Games that we picked up, things that we collected, just an overall recap of last year. But first, let me invite y'all to follow us on social media. We are at Collecti-Bros Pod on all social media platforms that we're on.
Make it short and sweet. Make it short and sweet.
Yeah. And also, please check out the Discord. Invite link is in the show notes. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. We're putting all of our content on there.
It's too long.
It's over. Hey, since it's one of these off episodes, you want to talk about pickups and playing? Barry, what'd you pick up? What have you been playing?
All right, very briefly, I've picked up on that little run Gun Griffin Allied Strike. Thanks, Brian, for finding that for me at a decent price.
Yeah.
Gundam Versus, because I didn't have it. Gundam Breaker 3 Break Edition, which I did not realize this game was expensive, and I did not realize there wasn't an official NTSC version.
Envious.
So that's cool. I have the Gundam Breaker 3 normal, but I don't have the Break Edition. And then a game called Dungeon of Nahelbik, the Amulet of Chaos, Chicken Edition. I don't know. It says it's a heroic, wacky fantasy dungeon RPG. I don't know. It looked fun. It was $10.
Yeah.
As far as playing, I've been playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It's mid. It's not as good. I've got a lot of bugs.
Differing opinions.
It's all right. I think the story's interesting. It's the classic Indiana Jones, falls for some random lady and, whatever. Puzzles are mid. The puzzles are really disappointing, actually. Combat's okay. The environments are cool. The graphics would be cool if I felt like they really optimized it, but I've just had so many graphical problems playing on Xbox.
Daddy Todd says it's our fault. We can always buy a better PC.
I mean, Daddy Todd made it for Xbox, and I can't even play it on my Series X without the walls glitching out and the whip freaking out. I don't know. So I'm having a fine time for being a Game Pass game that I didn't spend money on, and I want to finish it out because it's not super long. But I do enjoy the fact that there is variety in the levels where it's not just the desert. Mm-hmm. Did I talk about this last time?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so I haven't really gotten too much further with it since we've had Christmas, New Year's, and just so much stuff happen that I just haven't had
this time of year, man. Stop releasing cool games in fourth quarter, goddammit, so I can play them.
Yeah, I went back to AI Somnian Files to try and get back into that one and finish it, and that's something that I want to finish this year. And then obviously playing a little bit of Marvel Rivals. Brian and I were able to jump on Helldivers very briefly.
It's nice. New enemies fun. Terrifying but fun.
I think that's it for me. I think that's about it.
I actually had a nice little haul, man. I ended up picking more than I wanted to. First off, I got a Snake Amiibo. I never got a solid Snake Amiibo, and it was a good deal, so I was like, all right, cool. Bunch of import games. Let's see. First starting out with NBA Power Dunkers 5. Japanese exclusive NBA game. It's got Reggie Miller on the front. Shout out Reggie Miller. It was literally $3 sealed, so whatever. I picked up a ton of Gundam games, which timely since, I'm really into Gundam right now. I picked up Gundam Battle Online for the Dreamcast, was an import. I picked up Super Robot Fighters, just the standard one on Saturn. Picked up Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story 3 for Saturn. That one comes in a really cool box. It's almost like it's a book instead of a hard jewel case. And it's got a manual glued to the actual case. It's pretty cool. I think I put a picture in the Discord. What else? More PlayStation 2 Gundam imports.
Dude, you bought so many imports.
They're cheap. That's the thing. If you find them here, whatever.
And then you didn't buy the rest of them because I said, hey, I have Gundam imports that you can buy off of me for cheap.
Yes.
That I still have.
Yes. We'll have to talk. Picked up Gundam Seed versus Zaft. I picked up Mobile Suit Gundam, which does have an NTSC release, but the box art's slightly different. I'm just a sucker for that kind of shit. I picked up the most expensive import I picked up. It's the last... I thought I had all the Ultraman games on PS2, but I don't. I forgot about Ultraman. It's just called Ultraman. It's a fighting game, but it's not like a traditional fighting game. It's the camera angle is really unique. It's really cinematic. It's not just a left to right fighter. But again, I love Kaiju, I love Ultraman, so I'm all over that. 2 unique Nintendo DS imports. I got Blood Bahamut. It was pretty cheap, so it was like literally half off. So I was like, okay, I don't know a lot about it, but I know it is a Japanese exclusive. And then one I'm really excited about, Kaiju Busters. It looks like Earth Defense Force, but I'm pretty sure it's set in the Ultraman universe. My Japanese is horrible, so I can't read it. But it looks like Baragon's on the front. It looks like Science Patrol. Like, that's going to be awesome. It was dirt cheap. I'm talking single digits. Let's see what else. I picked up Steelbooks for Overwatch and Black Ops 6. Like, they were single digits. I do collect Steelbooks, and if the price is right, yeah, I'm going to pick them up. They're going to collect dust, whatever. Picked up Dark Watch on the original Xbox. I was really excited to find this. It was pretty much half off. This is one of the games that some particular YouTuber made a video about and says he likes it, so it just jumped up to like $30, $40 for no reason. I paid $12.99 for it, so like it's a fun shooting game from Capcom. You don't see it very often. Again, got scalped up because somebody probably made a little video and put it out early. You know, if you're a Patreon to this guy, maybe you saw that video earlier than everybody else. Not naming any names. Metal Jesus. Anyway, picked up Infinite Undiscovery on 360. I thought I had it, and I guess I didn't. Brothers in Arms Hell Highway. It was the Best Buy exclusive edition that comes with a mini strategy guide. I'm a sucker for variants. We've talked about it on the podcast a million times. They got my ass. Japanese exclusive 360 game. I cannot pronounce this. Atamadeus Gorgeous. It's a shmup, but again, it's a pretty expensive game. With the store closer for the 360, a lot of these like exclusive import games are going up. So this was still priced accordingly and fairly, so I snagged it. It is not backwards compatible, so it's going to sit around and collect dust for me, but whatever. Steel Battalion Heavy... What's Heavy Armor? That's what its Connect one's called, right? Jesus.
Connect one?
Yeah. I mean, I've been wanting it since we did the episode, and I found it for fucking $4. Like, okay.
Nice.
We went to Walmart just to like see if they had shit on clearance.
Oh my, I forgot about that.
Yeah, dude. Mega haul. There was just a stack of like Xbox games that I didn't have, and they were like $4 or $5 a pop. Nothing great, but whatever. The server's going to go down on them Sunday. I'm going to have to get the achievements.
That's when I had to slide into the cabinet.
Yeah,
to get
shout out to Barry, who literally sacrificed life and limb in their body to get into this case. And
so the entire electronics section, every single cabinet had a door open. So it wasn't like I'm sliding into like breaking and entering.
You didn't break into it.
Every single cabinet had a sliding door that was unlocked and open, but there was nobody in the department to help, and we couldn't open the other door. So I had to shimmy my ass in there to get games.
If it was Vampire Rules, you wouldn't have to be invited in. It was already open.
It was already, it was just
no crimes were committed.
You could just reach in and grab it, and I was like, okay, so slid my ass in there to get them.
Again, nothing spectacular here. We got Golf Club 2019, Tennis World Tour, PGA Tour 2K21, NASCAR Heat, Saints Row the Third Remastered, Plants vs. Zombie Battle for Neighborhood. Nothing crazy. Let's see what else. Katamari Reroll was probably one of the better games in there. Immortals Phoenix Rising, NASCAR Ignition 21, Just Dance 2022, NHRA or Drag Racing. Again, these sports games, I know I'm going to have to get them anyway, so why the fuck not at $4, $5 a pop? Last couple of picks I had that I was excited about was Exo Primal. I finally found Exo Primal physically. I don't see it very often, man. I still have it installed because it's a Game Pass game, and it's one of those I just chip at every once in a while. Got one achievement left. I've still got to max out a couple characters, which I'm going to go for 100% on it. But $12.99, like, yeah, dude. Like, this game was slept on heavily, and they stopped supporting it. But it is fun just to play every once in a while. And then Final Fantasy Crisis Core, I think this thing was dirt cheap. It was like $20 new, right? We found out. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely buying that. So
I thought it was cheaper than that.
It might have been. It was something I was like, I'm not walking away. Maybe it was $15. They clearly had it priced wrong or something. But I was like, yeah, let me get that. That's cheaper than it was on Black Friday. Like, I can't say no. So I had a nice little haul. Did you mention the console you picked up?
Oh yeah, I got the Monster Hunter Rise Switch. I forgot.
Yeah, bro, that was a big pickup, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave it on that.
I know, I completely forgot about it.
But yeah, as far as playing, like Barry said, I've been playing Indiana Jones also. I really enjoy it. It may have cracked my top 5 for this year. I think the biggest thing for me was like, it's so drastically different than a lot of the games that get released. Like, it's not a first-person shooting game. I think I've fired one bullet the whole time I've played it. So just to play something different, something that's not the same as everything else out there. I love like open world games like this where it's a zone and the map's wholly available to you. You can go everywhere. It reminds me a lot of like the Hitman games that have come out the last couple years. And I dig it, man.
Definitely a lot more stealthy than I would have imagined.
Yeah. And like, there are issues. Like some of the stealth's not great.
Some of the stealth's not great and some of it's just too long.
Yeah. You go for stretches where you're just sneaking and sneaking and
yeah,
sneaking.
I remember at one point where I was like, I'm tired of this, and I just took somebody's gun and started blasting.
See, I haven't really gotten a shootout yet. Like, I like the hand-to-hand combat's really fun. I've done a lot of the boxing club stuff. But just the choice and the open variety of it, I really enjoy. It's a pretty fun game with... It's not exactly the same game you've been playing is why I think I enjoy it so much. And then, yeah, Helldivers, I'm not going to repeat us. Let's just jump into it, shall we?
Did you get to the Himalayas yet?
That's where I'm at now. I literally just got there, and I was like, all right, I'm turning this off.
Oh, so you haven't tried to punch the Nazis with the shotguns yet?
I've cracked them over the head with, like, their own rifles.
Oh, yeah, desert, if you tried it, because, like, no, the specific ones in the Himalayas, they have, like, a mask and everything, and you can't just beat them up from behind and, like, get the jump on them and beat the fuck out of them. Like, they will shoot you in the face.
Nice.
So they've, like, when that area was introduced, it was like, oh, here's a new enemy, and they're beefier, and you can't just punch the fuck out of them. So if you don't get them with a stealth kill on the first go, like, you're getting in a shootout or you're dying. You can't beat them to death.
Interesting.
I learned that the hard way.
It's fun, man. I just got to that part, and unfortunately I would be a little farther, but I ran into a game-breaking glitch where it was like she wouldn't walk up the mountain. So I'm like, all right, follow me. So I'm walking up there to try to pull her up to the ledge, and she's just looking at me like, come on, Indy. I'm like, you come on.
Were you getting into the... Were you getting... I don't want to say where you're getting into, but when you're getting into the
big thing, yes.
Yeah.
You have to pull her up or she would not come.
Mine glitched out too.
Really? So yeah, I was looking at the forums and they're like, yeah, the only way to fix this is to roll your save back. So I went back to load my game and I'm like, it's the same part. Like, I'm fucked. Like, what do I do? I was pissed. Because I saw a lot of people online on TA and stuff who were like, oh, I'm glitched out of this. I was like, I haven't had too many glitches. Like, this is crazy. But then I ran into it like, this is bad. So please keep patching this game because I do enjoy it, but... Jesus Christ, stop releasing games in the fourth quarter if it's not done. Just wait.
I guess the part where you pull her up and then you're both staring at something and the floor falls out from under you and you fall into, like, the area and she fell and then Indy's, like, standing there and then all of a sudden just, like, falls. Like, after the floor's gone and she falls through it, the character model just kind of stays there for a second and stares.
It's like a Looney Tune.
Probably 3 seconds.
Like a fucking Looney Tune?
He just stayed. Yes! And then just goes... and then it hard cuts.
My funniest, like...
over.
I've noticed most of my stuff's been graphical. So, like, in the in-game cinematics, I had one where I was like, you know, the first level, you're in the Vatican, so I'm disguised as a priest. I have my whip in my holster, and it just starts, like, going out of control, mind of its own, like a snake, and just starts knocking everything over. I'm like, why just talking to somebody?
Yeah.
It's been a lot of graphical stuff for me, but...
I had floating rosaries.
Yeah, that screenshot was on the Discord. Yeah, funny.
The walls disappearing when you walked onto a ledge and looked in a certain spot. I don't know. It's not that the game isn't good. It's just it feels like they did not quality test it.
It was rushed. It's fucking Bethesda. That's what they do.
Like, there was no quality testers who did this.
It was rushed for sure.
Oh, it's Bethesda?
I mean, they own Machine Games.
Well, that answers everything right there.
Yep.
Oh, it's Todd? Answers everything right there. Yeah.
Say it's hard to argue with reality, but I love them, but it's true.
Great direction, but execution is just, like, not there.
I am really enjoying the story, though. It feels like everything the last two movies should have fucking been, quite frankly. Like, I love the story, but we gotta talk about other shit.
I know. Someone asked me, did Indiana Jones get into a fridge to stop dying from a nuclear bomb? And I was like, what? Completely forgot that was something they wrote in the Crystal Skull.
Yep.
Insane. Anyways, we'll move on. That was our 15 minutes.
At least there's not fucking horrible CGI monkeys swinging around and shit. Like, oh, God. Anyways, the rest of the year. Let's start with the podcast, man. Good year for a podcast. Had a bunch of fun episodes, bunch of games that surprised me. Just the Is It Worth It stuff. I mean, it's still my favorite stuff to record for this. It's the best way to play games that, you know, admittedly, if we were talking about a little bit last time with the backlog episode, play a bunch of games I never play. Did you have any that stood out to you as far as just like, hey, this one really surprised me?
For me, as far as the Is It Worth It, I think Spawn.
Yeah.
I was not expecting Spawn to be that good for what it was.
It was number one on my list for most surprising also.
And Fighting Fantasy. Yes. I wasn't expecting to enjoy that game so much. It was hard as balls, that's for sure, but Fighting Fantasy, I had a lot of fun with playing. I couldn't finish it. The learning curve was hard. The difficulty curve was hard, but I love the design of the game and the direction of it and the utilization for the stylus and like kind of using that DS. Is it the best game? No. Is it as dog shit as it was reviewed? Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
I love owning this game. I'm glad I got it.
Yeah, I wish I could find one.
It's crazy expensive, but that one surprised me the most. And then definitely Spawn. I didn't think it was going to have as much quality in it than I got. I thought it was just going to be, oh, cool, a beat 'em up with a Spawn skin on it. Right. But it was so much more in depth than I would have imagined that I was like, oh, wow. Necroplasm meter, like all these really cool combos. The no death seems cheesy, but like it was implemented really smartly. So the game was hard, but I still wanted to play.
Exactly.
I didn't want to quit the game because it was hard. I was like, okay, this is difficult, but it's giving me what I need to. I need to figure it out. Other than that one bullshit jump. Actually, no, there's 2 bullshit jumps.
The one in particular.
Man, that was
funny
rough.
You brought that up because both those games you mentioned, I feel exactly the same way. They were number 1 and number 2 for me, respectively. Mm-hmm. Both games were hard, right? But like we talked about in the episode, it made you want to keep going, and there's ways around that they worked to make it not be just like, fuck this, I'm turning it off. Like, I wanted to keep playing Final Fantasy. I think I said it in the episode, too. Like, I wish I had more time with this game because I was so surprised by it. And it's one I'm never going to be able to play again because I literally can't find a copy. I don't think there's any on eBay right now, by the way.
Really?
Last time I looked, it's been a couple weeks, but...
Woof.
But yeah, for sure, Spawn was my number 1. I had that slotted, and it's not like one of those things where it's like, oh, it's fairly new, remember talking about it? I think if you listen to the episode, you can tell that I was genuinely blown away. Mm-hmm. I still feel that way. I played it after we did it. I was like, oh, I want to see if I can get a little farther. Like, What a surprise, man. What a great game that's been sitting on my shelf for so long. I never would have done anything about it if we didn't have this podcast.
And we didn't even plan to play that one. That was an October pickup for me that I got on a trip, and I came back and was like, okay, we need a game to slot in here. Spawn supposedly 3 hours. Perfect. We get a chance to play it. So it was kind of like a quick reactionary, like, hey, we need a game. I just picked up Spawn. Right. Perfect. So that was kind of cool to kind of fall into that.
It was literally all the stars aligning and being like, damn, look at this game. Like, I really want a complete copy now. And it's hard to find out that poster, but I have a cart, and it's funny because it's one of those things sitting on my shelf forever. I could have done this a lot sooner, but... another one that surprised me, Vanguard Bandits, man. Again, I'm pretty picky when it comes to like turn-based stuff, and this is more tactical, so it's definitely more my alley. But this is one I've heard about this game before we actually played it, you know. And kind of surprised with like how much I actually did enjoy it, because the reviews are like meh on that game. Mm-hmm. But what a fun game, man. Like the quirkiness of working designs is just littered all the way through it. Like the dub's hilarious. Yep. It's a good game, man. That's another one that was like, hey, I had no real expectations going in, but thoroughly enjoyed, wanted to keep playing. Got stuck, unfortunately, but the games that make you want to keep coming back are the ones that stand out to me. And it's the ones I don't own particularly also, because it makes it hard to play. But the inverse effect, man, I'm pretty sure we're going to have the same answer here, too. This might be kind of boring, but Eddie, what was your biggest letdown for the Is It Worth It games? I already know what mine is.
My
easy.
Biggest letdown? Yeah. Easily Castlevania.
Oh, really?
I hated that game. It was terrible.
See, I kind of knew it was going to suck, though. Because I played Castlevania.
Oh, your biggest letdown? Like, you thought it was going to be good?
You thought you would enjoy it more, yeah. Obviously, Castlevania was one of the bottom tier games. I played Castlevania 64, so I kind of knew what we were getting into a little bit.
No, I don't think there was anything on here where I had high expectations, and it ended up being not good. Castlevania, I didn't have any expectations, and it was just a struggle to play that game. There was nothing in that game that I enjoyed at all. I mean, at least with, like, Mega Man X3 is hard. It was a terrible game. Yeah. At all. I think graphically it was amazing. Yeah, it was a beautiful looking game. And then I mean, Days Gone was terrible.
That was my
Days Gone was terrible.
My dumbass bought the collector's edition.
That game also, I think looking back on it now, like, I think it did look good. Yeah. I think it looked great.
Runs great.
Graphics, it was great, and there was some really good moments in there with the horror when they confined it to that small area and really leaned heavy into that horror. The cave is really what I go back to and
Yes.
think about. That whole cave system scene, I think it was great. The rest of the game was just...
Yeah, Days Gone was the biggest letdown for me, just because the rabid fan base behind it. Like, doing research on the game before I actually played it and why I picked it for the episode. It's like, I have the collector's edition behind this. There's a rabid fan base behind this, which was also super surprising. For after playing it was even more so. But I was like, oh, there's got to be something here. Like, people, it's one end of the spectrum with the game. Either you hate the game or it's like the most underrated masterpiece of all time. And man, what a letdown. Everything about it. Like, Sony makes quality games when it's like their first single player shit is always like A+. This game wasn't.
Dude.
It's just too many hands in the cookie jar, too much going on.
I'm still looking at it being like, if you think this game is a masterpiece, I don't know what drugs you're on.
I'm still the same way, and there's people that are just rabid defending this game, and I'm like, man, maybe I'm the problem.
Like,
I don't know.
Have you played any other game?
And that's the frustrating part about this game. Like, when the highs were high, like you were saying, with the horror, and I think a lot of the ideas were good, just execution was poor, if that makes sense.
But it was a 15-minute really high part in a 35-hour game.
I mean, my opinion hasn't changed at all about this game. It was like, man, this could have been that great game. It just wasn't fully cooked.
They wanted too much open world, check the points off the map, side mission, drive around on a bike. Dude, I'm just going to sit here and say it again. It makes absolutely no sense that you're driving a loud-ass motorcycle around in a zombie apocalypse.
Everybody can ride a fucking motorcycle, too.
And everybody knows how to do it. No cars anywhere except for the end of the game.
Bunch of broken down ones.
Oh.
Yeah, man, it was the biggest letdown for me, too. And, I mean, maybe it's because I own it, but I would still buy it because it's an exclusive or whatever, but...
The stealth was good.
There was things about it that were good. I think it's why it's even more frustrating to me. If you sort of gave it a little more polish, that game would have been a masterpiece. There's no doubt.
Narrative was terrible.
That's the thing. I didn't care about any of the fucking characters.
Was terrible.
The characters that I, quote, liked, I didn't really like. They were just so much more favorable than the rest of them that just totally sucked ass. Like, big letdown for me. And I picked it, so it's like, damn, this is my own fault. One that I was not surprised by, but I'm really glad we did, was Steel Battalion.
Yeah, I was going to say honorable mention Steel Battalion.
We all got it, man.
I knew it was going to be, as I played it before, I knew it was going to be good, but like really sitting there and playing, all three of us like hooking up.
Yeah.
With the two that we could, because I didn't realize you needed a line of contact for it, and scrambled to get a game, which is holy shit amazing.
We made it work. Yeah,
it made it work.
Dude, all I'm saying is I'm glad I finally got to play it, because I picked it up and I was like, oh, I'm not playing this until we all have it, and we're doing it for the podcast. Mm-hmm. That was like the most rewarding game, I think, because of that. It was, obviously I'm an Xbox boy. This is like the crown jewel of the original Xbox.
Yeah, there was a lot of personal momentum behind that choice.
So I was even like, I don't care if you pick it, Barry. One of us picks this. We're doing this. Like, that one was so rewarding for me. I was really glad we picked that one. Mm-hmm. And then Mega Man X3 was kind of the same, but the inverse. It was top 3, one of the most expensive games I had, so I wanted to do it. Kind of this notorious Super Nintendo title. I've talked about it in the episode. I'm not a huge Mega Man X guy. I'm very much more aligned with the classic Mega Mans. I'm glad we did it, though. Just to play it, finally, because I've had it for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And go through it. It really makes me want to play Mega Man X1 and 2 again, because I've only played the first one. But, yeah, man, I'm glad we did it, you know. I'm glad I picked one of the more expensive games. They're fun to talk about. It's what separates our podcast from other podcasts, is we talk about the collectability aspect of it. So doing those heavy hitter games like that is always rewarding too. What about some of the off episodes? I know we talked about the Is It Worth It, but for me, a big standout, we had our first, official guest. Shout out to Swoosh Bear. That was a lot of fun, and especially do a console that he's passionate about. Something kind of looking to again, going next year, try to have some guests on. Yeah,
we did the Super Nintendo special, and meeting Swoosh through Discord and, learning about him as a collector, it was just, like, hey, obviously we want to have a guest, and this one just makes the most sense.
Right.
So if you're interested, check out his content, Swoosh X Bear, primarily on YouTube. Makes really good videos. He just put his own year in review video out maybe a week and a half ago. And it was great.
Oh, yeah.
It was great. So, and I believe he'll be on another episode sometime this year.
Yeah,
sometime this year.
Might be in the pipeline. We might have some
might be in the pipeline, yeah.
Again, having the guests is fun. I think we both, we started the Discord and stuff to kind of grow this little community. And the more people, the merrier. So, we're always looking for different ways to come about it. Probably try to push a little more this year. Get some experimentation stuff going with some of the off episodes. Just transparency. We kind of pick what we want to do, but that changes throughout the year based on the ways we're feeling. I'm leaving a lot of spots blank because I am reaching out to some guests that might be pretty fun or interesting. Hopefully we get some responses. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I guess you'll know if we have them on or not.
Is there a game you want to talk about that we're doing next year?
One that I'm excited about?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you've followed the podcast, I picked it up recently. But again, it's another one of those heavy hitters. Castlevania Dracula X. It's the most expensive game I've ever bought outright. And I have played it because I had a cartridge, right? So I have played it, so I kind of know what we're getting into. I don't want to spoil the whole episode or anything, but look, man, the thing that separates us collectors from people who just pay for money for a good game and then trade it back into GameStop is this very scenario. So I do think it'll make a fun episode. And quite frankly, is it worth it? It's a whole other question of itself. You'll have to listen to the episode, but I know what I spent on it,
I feel like a lot of times with those is it worth it episodes on games that are so high, it sometimes is hard to justify spending hundreds of dollars on a game. So it's an interesting conversation in order to defend, would you spend that much money on a video game?
And here's the thing. I would. Clearly, I fucking did. You know what I'm saying? But sitting there and trying to use that metric, I'm not everybody else, and I try to be fair in that regard. But the story behind it and shit's cool, too. We got out and we were all game hunting. We had our road trip.
It wasn't even one we put on the map. We just drove by and you were like,
this game was always out of my reach. And then just to stumble across it before closing, what a story, bro. At
an old gas station?
Yeah, wild. Absolutely wild. This place is fucking loaded. There's a Dracula X over there. I thought you were lying, bro.
That place looked like I don't know, from the outside, it looked like we were about to walk into the pit of hell. Mm-hmm. And I said, I don't know about this. I remember we rolled up and we looked at it from the outside, and I told Brian, I said, we step in that door, I get a vibe of what the place is going to look like, and we might immediately step out of that door. Because it was 8:00 at night.
Yeah.
We still had to get
Not
to
in a great part of town.
We still had to get to our hotel that ended up actually being a motel.
Yeah, the whole thing.
With no hot water.
That was literally an adventure, brother.
Oh my God. But that was just a whole.
I'll never forget, bro. I was literally just looking at 360 shit, and Barry's like, they have a Dracula X on the. I said, okay. Yep. And you're like, no, I'm being serious. I was like, wait, what? Yeah. That's the thing. It was, top 3, top 2 probably games I'm after at the time, and they'd be like, hey, we're gonna find this on this road trip. I would have been like, you're full of shit. There's no way it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to do an episode about it. It was literally one of the term gets thrown around so much. It was literally one of my grails, and I obtained it. So I think it will be a fun one to do. What about you?
I don't think there's one that I'm crazy, super amazing. I've been waiting this whole time to do this game, but I think Ogre Battle 64 is one that I've wanted to do for this podcast, and I finally have committed to it. Especially, it's one of the more expensive games that we're gonna have this year. I don't like doing too many out of reach or out of reasonable priced games.
I try to do one a year.
Yeah, so I think Ogre Battle 64 is one of my higher priced ones, complete prices, and now that I know that you're more interested in tactical games, I'm really curious on what you're going to think of it. It's the only Ogre Battle game on the 64.
It's the only 64 game you have, isn't it?
No, I picked up Xena.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And Aiden Chronicles is the other one that I want.
It's an interesting pick for you, though, because, I think everyone knows how we feel about 64 on this podcast, but...
Right. I mean, and I don't feel like Ogre Battle 64 is talked about very much. Ogre Battle March of the Black Queen is the one that everyone talks about. It's really expensive on Super Nintendo. It's ported to the PlayStation 1, and that one is still expensive, too. Ogre Battle Tactics is a beloved game, and Ogre Battle 64 is rated highly, but there's just really not a lot of people including it in anything. Because I think, for one, the 64 library is so small, it's not known for RPGs. It's sure as hell not known for tactical RPGs. So, it's not a big competitor and compared to, what we can get on the PlayStation 1.
Right.
So... that one I'm excited to see what you think. I've never played that one.
Oh, so it's new for both of us.
So it is new. Yeah, I have not played that one.
Again, just selfishly talking about the backlog episode. That's always fun, too, when both of us have zero expectations. Because there have been times like we have very drastically different gaming flavors.
Yeah.
Anytime I see you get any sort of enjoyment out of the shit I put you through, I'm like, oh, look at that.
I know. we built the schedule for this year. We plop our games in how like which games we want to play, and it's really funny to see like the ones I put versus the one Brian's puts, and I'm like, we have very different tastes.
We do, but there's been plenty of times where I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. There's times where it's like, man, I'm gonna pick another RPG game, and I'm like, dude, that was a fucking blast. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like talking to myself. But that's the thing, man. This podcast has taught me nothing but open your horizons, try new shit. You'll find shit you really enjoy. And there's been a couple for you. Like, this is something you want to play, but you enjoyed yourself while playing it. So it's been fun. Do you
have any notable pickups? You talked about Dracula X.
Obviously, Dracula X is going to be the cream of the crop for sure,
But you've got any like, I finally got this?
Yeah, man, I had a pretty good year as far as finding stuff, and I tried to be a little more picky. Emphasis on try. But this year, Limited Run started doing a lot of Xbox stuff, so I was like, hey, I'm going to grab all the collector's editions for the Xbox stuff. I'm really glad I did, because truthfully, they retain value, which we could do a whole episode of Limited Run, how that goes. Most of the times they don't. Another really cool one, the last original trilogy Castlevania I needed for the box complete was Castlevania 2. I got a hell of a deal on the box and the manual, so I've got all those. Obviously, getting Dracula X, we'll talk about that. I got the limited run Castlevania, what's it called? The Advanced Collection with like the big light up box. So I had a really good year for Castlevania, dude. I literally completed the Nintendo trilogy, got Dracula X. Like, I literally just need Chronicles, and I have all the Castlevania games complete in box. Like,
I thought you had Chronicles.
It's the only one I need, man.
The Advance?
No, for PlayStation. It's the remake of the original Castlevania game for PlayStation.
Oh,
he's got like red hair on the cover. It's really ugly. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the last one I literally need. So, really good year for collecting Castlevania. One of the ones that I want every single thing for, because I love the franchise. Original Xbox, picked up a lot of games I was looking for. Blackstone was a big one, which you had. I've been looking for ever since you picked it up, and I found it myself.
We actually went to that store because you went there to get Castlevania.
Yeah.
And they didn't
Chronicles.
have it.
Yeah, fucking Chronicles.
Yeah, and by the time we got there, they'd already sold it.
Mm-hmm.
So we got there. It was a couple of hours north or so. So we went there specifically for that. I tagged along, obviously, because I'm just like, cool, maybe I'll find something. And Blackstone was sitting there in the case, and I was like, I want that. And you were like, what? What's that Xbox game? What is that?
Yeah, and I finally found one on our voyage across the east. So that was fun. Lastly, something really cool and different. I picked up a bunch of autographed games from voice actors. I've always got comic books autographed by like the artist or the writers. So crossing that kind of collecting hobby and habits over the video games is pretty fun and unique. Not really something I really have the chance to do where we are. Just not a lot of video game conventions. But I got Metal Gear Solid signed by David Hayter. Like, fucking awesome. Clearly one of my favorite games of all time. He was amazingly cool. Like, literally the coolest dude on the planet. Was like, immediately hit me with Snake voice as soon as I walked up to the table. Like,
I remember you trying to find a second copy for that game to take. And you were like, I can't find one that's clean, man. And I was going to give you mine.
Yeah. Because I had my childhood copy, and it just beat the fuck. It looks like a 7-year-old kid fucking played it. But I found a really clean one at the convention. I paid like, a little over for it, but it's immaculate. So I was like, okay, cool, you can sign this. He signed it in red. Like, the box, it looks beautiful. He signed it, you're pretty good. So I was like, this is amazing. Mm-hmm. Like, thank you for the nerd moment, David Hayter. The GTA cast, like, had a bidding, like, just being goofing off, just signing my case like a million times to see who could sign up more. Like, really fun time meeting all those guys. And then, where'd I go? Oh, fishing games. Fun little subset I collect. It's just like wild. I got a ton of fishing games this year. I got for Saturn, NES, Super Nintendo, pretty much every console I got at least one fishing game for. And you had that sick ass Wii one I haven't forgot about.
Fishing Resort?
I can't find it anywhere, dude. It's the Fishing Resort with the subtext.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so I went back and listened to that episode where you were like, yeah, I got Fishing Resort. And I just like cried. I was like, no!
Yeah, man. So I've got a lot of the stuff that I collect. It wasn't just, let me buy some original Xbox filler. I got some really nice pieces I've been looking for, including one of my, not going to throw it around, one of my grails. Like, who would have thought? So cool.
Right.
How about you?
I mean, speaking of grails, this was my year to get Steel Battalion.
Yeah, bro.
So now nobody has to hear me talking about how I'm going to rob you anymore. So Steel Battalion obviously was the big one. I never wanted to settle on getting that outside of the box. So I picked up a box copy. New games, the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Collector's Edition. I was really worried I wasn't going to get that, and I'm extremely glad I was able to. Spent a lot of money, and I don't care.
Yeah, it's worth it.
That was a really awesome pickup as far as new games this year that I got. Another collector's edition that I didn't know I was going to get and didn't know that it was a thing for some reason was The Witcher 2.
Oh, yeah, that 360, yeah.
Collector's edition?
360 exclusive one,
I got a good price on that one.
Yeah, you did that before it skyrocketed. You seen how much the thing goes for now?
No, how much does it go for?
A lot. I'm not going to get one anytime soon. I'll put it like that.
Over 200?
I think so.
Wow.
Let me look.
That's crazy. Another one that I picked up this year that I've been looking for a really long time was Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner, the first game.
Yeah.
I've had the second one and finally snagged the first one for a good price, so that might be something that I would want to do also. And then the last one is also a game that I've been looking for a very long time, and Brian also got this game. Seaman.
Yes.
The Dreamcast.
Maybe we're doing it next year, maybe.
I'm excited to finally play that game. Leonard Nimoy is a fish with a man face. It's just so funny. So
it's a double whammy for me. Like, I love Star Trek original series. Obviously, I collect fishing games. Dreamcast exclusive. It's fun. Really cool. We both got a nice complete copy this year.
It's such a weird game that I've always wanted to play it, but you can't experience this game without the little microphone.
Right.
And like finding the box with the microphone is impossible, especially one that works. So I actually admittedly don't even know if mine works, and I never tested it. So I hope one of ours works.
Guess we'll find out if we're really doing that episode or not.
Yeah. So that's one that I would really like to do this year for sure. I've just been wanting to play this game for so long.
Yeah.
So, and it's not very long, but it is a weird game. Dreamcast exclusive. If you've never heard of Seaman, it's Seaman. Seaman.
Seaman, not Seaman.
Yeah, not Seaman. Seaman. Look it up. It's just wild.
Yeah, it's truly a unique experience. I've never played it, but I've seen footage and I've seen people talk about it, and I'm like, I need this.
So yeah,
of course I need it.
Those are definitely some of the highlights of my year.
What about games you played this year? As far as let's just start with non-new releases. Was there anything of note that wasn't a podcast game that you picked up and played that was a standout experience for you?
I guess Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
That was a super big standout. I talked that game to death in the previous episodes, but I won't. But I'm sure there's other ones. I honestly can't think of non-brand new games right now because my time was soaked up by, Final Fantasy and Helldivers for so long. So I don't know. Do you have anything that wasn't this year?
Yeah, it's funny thinking about this question. I played a lot more newer release games than I thought I did.
Yeah, me too.
But my biggest standout for this year is I put a ton of time into Fallout 76 this year.
Mm-hmm.
When the show came out, I was like, man, I got that itch to play Fallout again, And I was like, I've played them all. I want to play one that I haven't spent a lot of time with. And I bought Fallout. This is horrible. I bought 3 copies of Fallout 76 when it was new. All right, so I bought myself the Bicentennial Edition, or the GameStop one with like the Pip-Boy and all that.
Yeah, I remember you being just
Sherry the
geeked out about this
Bicentennial Edition,
Pip-Boy.
and then somehow I got a normal copy for free. I don't remember how. But I was so disappointed and like just upset that the game wasn't great. I didn't play it for years, and I finally picked it up again. So I got a guy on my friends list that like it's all he plays, and I was like, dude, like how do you only play this? Like you used to go for the achievements and the gamer score. And he's like, nah, I've put 700 something hours into Fallout 76. I'm still enjoying it. He's like, it's such a better experience now than it was. And I was like, you know what? I'll play with you for a little bit. But yeah, basically I ran it a little bit with him and I was like, hey, this is a lot better. A, it actually works was a huge thing. But B, they've added a lot to it. And low key, it's got a pretty big player base. There's always people on. There's always something going on. So I did all the main content, all the side content. The big expansion came out this year. I ended up doing that. I actually had fun with it. A game I truly used to not enjoy at all. I actually really enjoyed my time with it. Now I haven't played it since I got all the achievements. There is a new expansion coming out in February that'll let you play as a ghoul, so I probably will check it out again, even if it doesn't add achievements. But I would say give that game another chance, man. I really enjoyed my time with it, and I didn't think I would. So probably the biggest standout for me. It was my most played game as far as hours logged this year, but enjoyable. Another one that was the inverse, just a huge disappointment, was Scorn was on Game Pass. And if you don't know what that is, it was like a H.R. Geiger like inspired like puzzle game, adventure game. There's not a lot of like combat, but it was one that was on my radar because it looked so unique and looked interesting. But what a big disappointment, man. Like the world was, it's very ambient, so there's no music or anything. It's just, white noise in the background. Visually, it's beautiful. It runs at 60 frames, like solid, or 120, like just super, super nice frame rate. Beautiful graphics. Just, that's all there is though. The story's like ambiguous. There's sounds ambiguous. Like there's just no meat on the bone. You know what I mean? It's very just like aesthetically pleasing. It's disgusting. Like there's mangled people and mutants. Some of the puzzles were okay. The problem was the okay ones stood out so well because the rest of them were so ass. I was so severely disappointed. I played it because it was leaving Game Pass. I played it during October, so like spooky season time, thinking I was going to get a horror game. I can't recommend that game, man. I don't think there's a physical copy of it either, so the only way to play it was digital. I was just truly disappointed. It was my biggest one. I was like, I did not enjoy my time with this. I was expecting more, so that was the inverse side of that token. Was there any new releases that you wish you got a chance to play that came out this year?
Are we starting with Wish we got to play?
Yeah, we'll start with Wish we got to play.
I never got the opportunity to play Metaphor, Refantasio, or Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, which is really disappointing.
Yeah, I know you were super hyped for that one too.
So excited for those. It was a time period where I had a vacation, had a job change, and then it just rolled straight into the holidays. And the holidays have not cooled off yet.
Yeah, you might have remembered we went on a hiatus.
Yeah, we went on a hiatus.
Our first one, which by the way, like this is offhand, super proud of us. Like that's the first one we ever had to go on, and it wasn't because we were tired of making content or whatever. Like we both genuinely love doing this. Mm-hmm. It was literally life. So like, sorry if you had an issue with it, but my friend's doing well, so fuck you. Anyway, go ahead.
What?
Said you're doing well. You have a new job and shit. Like I'm happy for you. So if you're getting attitude about it, go fuck yourself.
No, we came back from it. It wasn't even that long of a hiatus. It was maybe a month. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get a chance to play both of those because they came out in October, which is when all of this was happening. Yeah. And then holidays, and you just, when you get a job change, you're not sure like what your finances look like. So I hadn't bought anything during that time period. So it'll be on the list for next year. But definitely those two were the bigger ones that I was really looking forward to, and I just didn't get the chance.
I've heard nothing but great things about Metaphor also.
I mean,
I want to support
it won
Atlas
a lot of awards.
Games on Xbox.
It
like,
got
I
a
really
lot
want
of
to pick it up.
It got a lot of, good reviews, and
I got Game of the Year in a lot of places,
about
man.
it. So, problem with that game is it's really hard to start because you need a lot of hours. Mm-hmm. I heard it's amazing, and I'm not gonna, I'm not playing it because I don't want to. But for me to invest that much time into a game, I have to be ready for it. And this time of year is not ready. I can barely play Marvel Rivals as it is consistently. And
I'm not done with Indiana Jones, man.
I
get it.
I know.
I've like tried to sit down and play it and put time in it because I don't mean to steal your thunder, but like for me, how much did I talk up Stalker 2 on this fucking podcast, bro?
Like Indiana Jones is a game that I should be able to complete in 3 days.
Yeah.
3 days.
That's the thing. I'm having fun with it, so I want 100% it. So I'm like going for all the side quests and stuff. I don't regret my decision to start it. I intentionally started it before Stalker 2 because I heard it was short. Stalker 2 is a commitment. We're talking 120 hours of like Eurojank. You gotta you gotta know what you're getting into. So like I've talked it up how hype I am for Stalker 2. Like it's finally happening. It's finally here. And during peak season for work, it came out. Mm-hmm. It was almost like a blessing in disguise because the court's gonna launch with bugs. Like they get slack. They're in the middle of a fucking war zone. Like they get slack. But they released a huge patch for it, so it's ready to go. Right when I'm done with peak, and I'm like, cool. Indiana Jones comes out, and everyone's like, yeah, it'll be 20 hours. And I was like, all right, I can do that.
I read 15.
Yeah, well, turns out if you want to do everything, it's like 40. So I'm like, okay, it's still not horrible. I'll get it done probably end of January, beginning of February. But I miss playing Stalker 2. It sucks, but it is what it is. It's still installed on my Xbox. Like, I will get around to it. You bet your ass. And then I fell behind in the series, Like a Dragon. I picked it up. Just haven't played it yet. I'm too far behind in the series. I don't want to start here. I am the typical Yakuza fan where I know exactly what's happening because I want it spoiled for me to stay with the story and stay current. But, watching YouTube videos or whatever. But I do want to play it. This one's supposed to be great. The story is supposed to be the most lacking part of this one, which is surprising for this series. But the turn-based gameplay, this one's supposed to be, like, perfected. So, unfortunately, I missed that one.
So anyways, rolling back to Dragon Ball.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This
Dragon
fucking
Ball.
cat. I blame the cat for attacking us.
Dragon Ball came out in October, and that was a game that we were all so excited about because we had done a Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 3 episode for this podcast last year. Not this year, but the previous year. So I had gotten everybody excited about this game, and this is the spiritual successor. It's supposed to be, Budokai Tenkaichi 4.
Yeah.
Sparking Zero, all new characters, and then it didn't happen. Because I remember talking to you and being like, Brian, are you going to play this game with me when it comes out? And you were like, yeah, bro, I'm coming over.
Yep.
So that one is unfortunately...
I don't see it very often, too, out and about. I mean, we've talked about this before, too, how new games are getting harder and harder to find.
And it really sucks because, like, the whatever fancy extra one has got a different cover.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
I
want all the I want all the characters, but, like... Do I have $100? But I'm like, but it's got the Ultra Instinct Goku on the front. It's cool. I'm like, but the other one's cool, too. I don't know. The collector's edition for that, I'm not touching that. Yeah. It's too expensive for a bunch of nothing.
Yep.
Gorgeous steelbook, though.
The steelbook is nasty.
I really, really, really wish they would have released a deluxe edition that had the steelbook and the regular pack-in with the slip or something. But
Maybe
it was
it
was just the regular, the other game with the extra DLC in a different cover, normal case, or collector's edition. There's no other way to get the steelbook. And I'm like,
usually they put it in the deluxe edition or whatever. You think they would...
Yeah.
I don't know. We get lucky. That's one of the reasons why I collect steelbooks, because there's somebody around here that drops steelbooks off. So maybe we'll find you one. Hopefully.
Out of the collector's edition? I don't know.
That's how I got that Overwatch one.
I don't know. So...
Yeah, DBZ people are going to hold on to their shit, though. That's true.
What about new releases or games that came out this year?
Picked up a lot, and I played way more than I realized, man. The biggest one for me, just start of the year, playing Power World. Like, super fun experience.
Oh, shit, I forgot about Power World.
I think a lot of people did, man, which is... I feel like this game, when it launched, it was a huge deal. It was everywhere. Everyone was talking about it. Mm-hmm. It fizzled out quickly, and I don't really know why. Like, look, here's the thing. There was issues with it when it launched. People aren't oblivious to that. Small 12-man team when it launched also. They have continued to support this game throughout the year. There's 2 huge expansions out.
I was about to say, didn't they just release a big expansion recently?
Second one of the year.
Yeah.
Like, it's continued to get support. It's continued to get better because the PC version was so far ahead of the console version.
That's what I played.
Now they're neck and neck. Like, it's still a great game. It cracked my top 5.
Do kind of want to get back into it.
Yeah, man. I would say if you went into it and you had issues, give it a chance again. They've really worked a lot of things. They've changed some mechanics, some due to the lawsuit. But fun game, dude. I'm very casual when it comes to actually playing the Pokemon games. I played them a lot as a kid. I haven't played a lot of the Switch ones. Arceus Legends is the last one I actually sat down and put time to, right?
I don't know. Power World for me is one of those games that, like, I really enjoy monster collecting games, and we finally got a monster collecting game that was enjoyable to play. It had some new mechanics, like base building, and, like, coming off of the flop that Scarlet and Violet was, like, that itch wasn't scratched. When we got Scarlet and Violet, it was so disappointing. I never finished mine.
I didn't pick it up after talking to you about it.
It was so buggy. Yeah. I actually regret buying that special edition with a steelbook. It was money wasted. So, like, it never filled that want of Pokemon.
Yeah.
And so then Power World rolls around and was like, oh, I really like playing survival games, especially with friends, and, like, base building games. And not utility games. I like farming sims, so it kind of a resource kind of based game where you kind of have to protect your area, and the raids come in, and then you see the raids and, like, putting up a wall, and they're all just on the other side, and then your stupid monsters go out there and just, like, get waxed, and you've got their bodies flopping around. It's just a fun game to play that revitalized the monster collecting for me that no one else is doing. Like, who else is doing a monster collecting game? Like, the last Digimon game we got was a tactical RPG, basically. A strategy tactical game.
And then the visual novel before then.
That's what it was. It was a visual novel, like, tactical strategy game. Yeah. It wasn't like Digimon World, where we haven't had Digimon World in such a long time.
See, for me, Power World was the Pokemon game I've always wanted.
Right.
Like, I'm not afraid to say it. Like, call me a casual because there's guns and shit. I don't care. Like, it's fun, dude.
Like, I'm sorry, Pokemon needs to inject new life.
Needs fun.
And you putting crystals on Pokemon's heads is not the solution.
To sell more cards.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Pokemon needs to be fun again. I'm not afraid to say it.
They have some interesting things where they did with the little caves where you go in and you do your little 4-man battle raids, but it's like, okay, they're big again and you're fighting them with more people.
Right.
We need something new injected into Pokemon.
See, that's why I wish they would make like Arceus too, because Arceus like changed the formula a little bit, made it interesting, and then they kind of just went like, yeah, we'll do this third person and the throwing mechanic and stuff the same, but they went backwards with the last games. Power World to me feels like the next step of like, hey, Nintendo, take notes. And honestly, I think that's why people forgot about it, because there's like this weird hate for Power World because Nintendo ended up suing them.
Yeah.
But like, you know, you're allowed to enjoy things. Nintendo doesn't own the rights to monster collecting games.
A lot of the big flack on that game was supposedly using AI.
Yeah, which is shitball. Don't get me wrong.
And the Pokemon were, or the pals, what were they called?
Yeah,
the pals were too close to Pokemon designs or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, there's some issues with it. It's not perfect, but what determines my like, hey, I enjoyed playing this game, this is a contender for Game of the Year for me, is if the game's fucking fun. I had a smile on my face ear to ear the whole time, and it was a blast.
Right, you know what's not fun?
Too?
Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Power World was, I know it was early in the year, and I feel like nobody brought it up in the Game Awards. Nowhere was like, hey, Power World Game of the Year contender. For me, it was, though. I mean,
Power World got a trailer at the Game Awards. Yeah, I think they got a trailer for the release of the expansion, right?
Honestly, I don't remember.
I think it did.
I think everything went blank after I saw Onimusha. I was like, yes, finally.
Dude, my brain got mush as soon as they put Witcher 4, and I was like...
Honestly, though, the start of this year, like, strong, bro. Because, just be forefront here, we talked about Helldivers a little bit, but...
Yeah, here's the thing. The first part of this... And I'm trying to think of, like, what games came after. Because, like, we got Power World, and then Helldivers... Which we'll talk about Helldivers. And then, like, immediately after that was Persona 3.
Yep.
And then I didn't even get a chance to finish Persona 3 because then Final Fantasy Rebirth came out, which took up all my fucking time. And then you guess what happened right after that? Dragon's Dogma 2. So, like, springtime was so packed.
Dude, everyone talks about how loaded last year was. This year was off to the strong, like, just as strong of a start. I'm going to be blunt. Like, Xbox got in the mist. They had Hellblade 2 come out. It was March, I think. March or April. There's so many games that are like console exclusives that people forgot. Rise of the Ronin was March or April. Mm-hmm. Like, companies were putting out heavy hitter games that
half of the year was great.
Stacked. Just
Holiday
absolutely fucking
mid.
Stacked. See, I think Xbox had a good fourth quarter because they released Stalker, Indiana Jones, Flight Sim.
Sure, but those games came out in like December.
Right.
Like what happened in September, August, September,
and
October.
That was the biggest difference between last year and this year, I think. Like we started out so damn strong this year. Even like for me, like college football was early and college football was fucking great.
Like September, October was incredibly dense last year.
Marvel Rivals stole the show late in the year for sure.
And even then, Marvel Rivals came out December.
Yeah, because I was done with peak.
There was a 3-month period of this year where it was like we kind of really didn't have anything, and we did. Like Metaphor came out, obviously. Dragon Ball for me came out, obviously. Mm-hmm. But like I'm talking, when did the Zelda game come out?
I want to say it was August or September, maybe.
Maybe, but I don't feel like Nintendo really had anything swinging.
That, and they had the Nintendo World Championship game, which I picked up, and it was fun. I enjoyed my time with it.
I mean,
but as far as like heavy hitters, you need to buy a Switch to get this game type of game.
We did have Paper Mario this year.
Yeah. No, Nintendo did some good stuff this year.
But there's, I don't know, for Nintendo, as big as Nintendo is, and maybe we're biased because admittedly Brian and I aren't like huge Nintendo people. So I don't have my finger on the pulse. Right. But I just don't feel like I remember hearing or seeing really like heavy Nintendo at the last half.
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like, you know, they're holding off for this Switch 2 console that may or may not ever come out.
I mean, I don't know. The Switch originally was announced holiday.
Yeah.
And then it came out in March.
I really thought we were going to get an announcement at the Game Awards, honestly. I really did. Well,
and then, like, I haven't heard there's been a Nintendo Direct. Nintendo doesn't do anything at the Game Awards. Nintendo doesn't touch anything except their own shit.
My thought process was like, this is going to be the most eyes on it. But I could see them also pulling a Direct in February and be like, this is where we're showing you everything. Because it's started the first quarter. That'll make the help with the investments, all that, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that was a pretty big letdown too. I really thought this was a year we're going to get Switch 2. It's turning into the Duke Nukem Forever of consoles, man. Like, are we ever going to get this damn thing?
It's crazy, though.
But yeah, this year started out.
I mean, we had one. We had a direct, but it was a Super Nintendo World Direct.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool, but like I can't go to Super Nintendo World. I was really close to when I went out to California, and we really kind of all low-key debated on going to it over, I think it was in LA. Or was it San Diego? It was LA, because we went up to LA for one day.
I would have been like, Super Nintendo.
And so like we were debating on it. I just don't think we had enough time in the day, and it was a drive up there.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, so the only other option for Super Nintendo World is fucking Japan. Like,
yeah.
Sorry, on the East Coast, bro. That's opposite end of the planet.
Right.
So I was like, I don't really care that much about Super Nintendo Land for an entire direct.
Yeah.
We don't like Nintendo for the two theme parks.
If you want to hear about it, you want to go see it. Do you want someone to tell you they had a blast at the amusement park, or do you want to go yourself and see it? I would love to go and see it. But if y'all went and told me about how awesome it was, I'd be like, damn.
Right, like this direct was like, get a first look at the new Donkey Kong Country area opening up at the Japan Universal Studios Super Nintendo World Direct.
I love Donkey Kong Country. I would cry if I went there. It'd be awesome.
It's cool, but like where?
But yeah, I don't want to see a direct about it. I want to go there. You know what I'm saying?
Where are my games?
Yeah, I feel you. If they don't announce it first quarter, like I don't know what's going on anymore at that point. Like they have to. They have to. That was probably the most shocking thing that Switch 2 didn't get announced. Like seriously, it has to be the most shocking news.
Yeah,
that and the 360 marketplace closing was, obviously close to home. I mean, it's a big deal, dude.
The biggest shocking news for me this year was not so much like maybe the lack of the Nintendo, but I still think about Microsoft shutting down the studio for Hi-Fi Rush.
That was, yeah.
I still think about that.
It's more corporate, and all the layoffs this year in general. Like,
that was this year, right?
Bullshit. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
corporate overlord bullshit, man.
That was the biggest surprising news for me that I still can't think about. It's crazy that happened. And then the fact that Dragon Age actually came out.
Yeah.
That was like, this game actually came out. I don't know. That's another game that I didn't play this year. I wasn't really planning on it. And it'll be one that I'll probably pick up and play. I'm not paying full price for it.
I'll pick it up used. I mean, hell, we were just out. We
were just talking about
it's $50 already.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just lost too much faith in that studio, and I was convinced it wasn't going to come out, period. Yeah. And to be fair, it didn't. The game that we thought we were going to get, that we were promised we were going to get, that they marketed to, we never got that. We got something completely different that might as well not have been called Dragon Age, to be fair. Yeah. So, Dragon Age died with Dreadwolf.
Man, I really think if this new Mass Effect doesn't land, BioWare's dead.
I don't think it's coming out.
If it comes out now,
I don't think it's coming out. Period.
That would be the biggest crime against humanity ever.
Like, I don't know how much money they made off Dragon Age Veilguard or whatever the fuck it's called.
I know it's underperforming. And
EA's not going to keep pumping money into this studio. Like, how long did it take for Dragon Age to come out? How many years was that?
A long time. You know what's even more crazy? Guess what game came out before that?
Not Elder Scrolls 6.
Anthem. Yeah, I mean BioWare game. Anthem. We all know what happened with that.
Even then, we haven't had...
They're on a losing streak.
I'm talking about how long Dragon Age 4 was confirmed, announced. We got concept art. We got footage or whatever the fuck we got about it. And then we heard nothing for 2 years. And they're still funding it that entire time. It's not like their funds got frozen for 2 years. They're still paying these people to work on it. You've got tons of people leaving midway. Mm-hmm. Not like some people who worked on, I worked on some of the character models. We're talking... people running the show left that studio. Yeah. A whole new team in there that had nothing to do with any of the Dragon Ages.
No wonder they finally decided to remake Mass Effect, because they probably needed fucking funding.
They've got no money left. Yeah, there's no money. And do you think EA is going to keep pumping it into BioWare? I wouldn't be shocked if they either shutter BioWare or they try to sell it.
We were talking, that's EA's crazy too. Battlefield sold million point something copies week 1, and they said it was a failure 1 weekend. Yep. So they're not going to keep tolerating this. And all these corporate overlords are the same way, bro. That's why, critically acclaimed Hi-Fi Rush got shut down, because they acquired Activision. They're investors are like, we need money. We don't care about your art anymore.
Embracer's just going off the rails with theirs, because they didn't expect these studios to not give them short-term return. They said, games are really popular in 2020 and making so much money. Let's gobble up these studios and immediately start making money within the next year. It's not how games work, dog.
Yeah, that's the biggest. You're right.
That's
That's the most sad thing that happened this year. There's no doubt about it. I changed my answer.
The Monopoly.
Just the greed and like the art form of making video games is gone, bro. It's just so materialistic and so fucking money driven. Mm-hmm. Like, thank God for indie devs, right?
As much as we can get out of them.
No shit, because games are so expensive to make, man. Who knows?
Well, I suppose things you're looking forward to.
Yeah, definitely.
What are you looking forward to in 2025?
There's some really good games from some franchises that
if they actually come out.
Love. Yeah, if they don't get the way to Oblivion. Right off the bat, immediately, first thought, Doom Dark Ages. Like, again, we were talking about injecting new life in this series. This looks insane. Like, just the little clip they showed, they haven't showed anything else since. And, dude, I get goosebumps thinking about it, man. Like, we have the shield and shit. Like, it's just medieval Doom. My ultimate fan theory is that hoping this leads to, like, the Quake connection, and maybe we'll get a Quake reboot also. Because the original Quake, people forget how, like, medieval that game is, bro.
Ain't happening. If it ain't happening now, it ain't happening.
Never say never, brother. But yeah, I'm excited. Obviously that. I mean, I love Doom. Avowed's really early in the year. I'm really excited for that. Just to have Obsidian making a Pillars of Eternity, Skyrim basically. I'm super hyped for Avowed. And again, it was supposed to come out this year, but they pushed it back to kind of give some breathing room for some of the Xbox releases because Indiana Jones came out.
Push it back because they had to rehaul the combat.
Yeah, that too. That's what they say. I'm just being the corporate mouthpiece right now. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I think they overhauled it quite a bit from the last time I saw it. I think it'll be fun, man. And again, I'm going to play it on Game Pass, so I'm not going to pay anything for it. Thirdly, Metal Gear Delta. Like, hell yeah, I'm so excited for this. Please save Metal Gear. David Hayter's back, so it's awesome. It looks beautiful. I enjoy Metal Gear Solid 3. I know it's like the most beloved one. It's not my favorite, but I think this is a good point. If they do start remaking all of them again with like a modern graphics engine, this is where you start. And then lastly, Crimson Desert. I'm so hyped for this game. I hope it comes out next year. I love Black Desert Online. We've talked about it a million times, but have a single player game. The combat looks fucking amazing. It looks fast. Like, I can't wait for that damn game. How about you?
I think the most obvious answer is Monster Hunter.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Monster Hunter Wilds comes out, and to be honest, like I couldn't even remember any other games. I was like, Monster Hunter comes out in February. After that, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Playing Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
That's what I'm playing. There's no Final Fantasies coming out. I'm playing Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
All the other games can fuck off. I don't really care that much.
I'm excited for it too. It looks like World 2, which like had a blast.
It's the World team. Yeah. We're getting a little bit of stuff from Rise that was good and leaving all the crap behind. I am afraid. I didn't play the beta. I wanted to just play it on release. Yeah.
Smart.
So I've heard that they've changed the insect glaive, and I'm a little afraid that I'm going to have to learn a new weapon because I don't want to. I want to spin around and jump around in the air and hit stuff fast.
I did see they changed that, yeah. I didn't click the article, though.
Obviously going to give it a shot. If they changed it too far from what I enjoy about the insect glaive, I'll be a little disappointed. But the game looks awesome.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. Cross-play, cross-console cross-play, finally.
Yeah, dude.
Finally? Let's do it.
Capcom's on such a streak, too. Like, it's going to be great. I have no doubts.
Yeah.
No doubts. I'm not concerned at all.
Other than that, Mecha Break is supposed to come out this year.
Oh, yeah.
Super fast robot game. Like,
I'm have to get into Crystal Meth before we start playing that, though. It looks so fast.
I'm in. In on that game. And then Ghost of Yote.
Yes.
Or Yotai or Yote, whatever.
Ghost 2.
If that actually comes out this year, there's not a, what do you call it?
There's not a set release date. Yeah.
There's not a release date for it. They just say 2025. So who's to say if that's actually going to happen? But I am very excited about this game. Shout out to the Lunar and Lunar 2 remaster. Really want to play those. Definitely. Actually, you know what? I'm going to lie. I'm going to buy them and I'm probably not going to play them knowing me. That's just how I am. But I am glad that people will be able to experience these. And because Lunar's expensive.
Yeah.
Like, even the PlayStation 1 version that's not...
The cheap one's expensive.
The cheap one's expensive. So I'm excited, and they're redoing the translation on it.
That's cool.
I don't know how I'm going to feel about it, because the working designs translation is like what I want. It's good. Maybe it doesn't age very well in some areas, but working designs translation is like what everyone knows that game for.
Are they redoing the trailer? Are they going to have the option to pick an updated one?
I think they're completely redoing it. It's a whole new team. It's a whole new studio doing a translation.
Interesting.
So I don't know if they're, and I haven't looked too deep into it, but I know it's a whole new studio doing a translation and quite possibly a completely new voice cast.
Oh.
Like whole new. So
that's different.
It's going to be a whole new thing, I'm guessing. I could be wrong, don't quote me on this, but this is for my understanding. And then the Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, super excited about that. It's finally coming off of the Wii U.
Yeah.
I can finally sell my Wii U. I can finally get rid of it.
That's got to be one of the last, if not the last exclusive for Wii U, right? I know there was like the tank game, never came to Switch.
Well, I originally had it specifically for the Persona and the Fire Emblem.
Oh, the PT, whatever.
Weird, whatever game that was. And that came out of the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Xenoblade Chronicles X was the only thing keeping me on that Wii U, other than the fact that I have Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. If they ever port that to the Switch or the Switch 2, that would be great. But to me, that's the best way to play those games. Wind Waker looks gorgeous on the Wii U.
Yeah.
So I have those, and I want to keep it because of those games. Because if I want to play them, I would rather play them on the Wii U than the GameCube.
Right.
Plus, I already have them.
Yeah.
But Chronicles X coming off to another platform is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's going to be definitive, and it's going to be upgraded, and it's going to look good. I'm excited to see what they add to it, but as far as like remakes or remasters or re-releases for this year, those two games. Also very curious if this Naughty Dog game's going to come out this year.
Yeah.
I would love if it did.
I don't think so, though. I'm not holding my breath.
I guess upcoming games. I don't know. That one, I don't know if that's coming out this year. The new Onimusha game, I don't know if that's coming out this year.
If it does, I'll be there day one.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. And then Witcher 4, probably not coming out this year, but be tight if
I was a betting man, I bet the house we're not getting that anytime soon.
I think that CD Projekt Red,
the fact it's official
I
now.
think that CD Projekt Red and their publishers learned their fucking lesson from Cyberpunk.
Hopefully.
And they're not going to do that again.
Please don't.
So,
especially with Witcher. Please don't. I feel the same way about if it does come out. Prime 4. But hopefully,
Prime 4.
Every year, but I'm hoping
Prime 4 is the new Half-Life, dude.
Look, bro, this better be a Switch 2 launch title, and it better come out this year. That's all I'm saying. Tired of fucking waiting.
What else is going to be a Switch 2 launch title?
Probably some unannounced Mario game.
Fire Emblem.
Zelda. With Breath of the Wild 3.
We just got Tears of the Kingdom.
Same assets and shit. They can do it again.
We need a new 2D Zelda.
No, I agree. Yeah, that's one thing.
Or even the 2D, 3D that they did.
I wanted
really
to play
like
this new one because it is 2D, and that's the Zelda I prefer, honestly. Like the traditional Zelda.
Yeah, I had much more enjoyment with it. I really like the Link to the...
Oh, the remake?
Link's
Awakening?
It was great. Was it Link's Awakening?
Yeah, the remake, yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
I really loved that game. That was so fun.
It was cool art style, you know? Yeah, God, more of that, please. Really quick, let's just get this out of the way. No particular order. Game of the Year's contenders for you.
Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. What are you talking about? No brainer.
Yeah.
If there's ever a Final Fantasy release in a calendar year, it's that.
Of course.
You can't compare.
Yeah. I mean...
And guess what's going to be 25? Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm telling you right now. You can come revisit our year wrap-up in 2025, and the answer is going to be Monster Hunter Wilds. There's not going to be a single game come out next year that could compare.
Yeah, it's hard when you have a franchise you love that just releases a banger of a game consistently.
Right.
For this year, it was a little surprising for me. Just quick top 5. Power World, we brought it up. A great, fun game. Game that did not get enough love for, I think, and it's crazy because, the studio is notorious for just shitting on not caring. College Football 25 was fantastic, man.
What?
College Football 25.
Oh.
It was the football game that we've been wanting from Madden, not just recycled hash. They changed a bunch of mechanics. The crowd is like so into the game. Like, just play one game of it, you're like, this is really cool. It's like going to a college football stadium. Like, the crowd's so lively. It's not just pre-recorded. Woo! Like, the environments, and they spend time and do little traditional things. So, like, if you have a school that does a celebration when they get a pick, the whole stadium does it. It's specific to that school for, like, their home games. There's so much actual detail and care put into that game. And it didn't even get nominated at the Game Awards for a sports award, but whatever, fuck the Game Awards. Number 3, Marvel Rivals. Absolutely fun. Had a blast with it. Still playing it. Still obsessed with it. I'm really hoping they continue to support this game instead of just releasing skins. There are some balancing issues, but we've beaten this game to death. I'm going to gloss over it. Still, I love Marvel Comics. Super happy that we're getting good Marvel games again. And appropriate timing with the release, too, with the Ultimate Alliance episode, see our last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana Jones, again, is a surprise for me, just something different, something fresh. And then let me sing Helldivers 2's praises for my game of the year. Like, the most fun I had playing a video game all year. And that's what qualifies for my game of the year is, like, did I enjoy it? Did I have fun? Dude, Helldivers, every time I played it, I'm cracking the fuck up. We're making memories. We're making clips. The continued support we've gotten for this game, like, this is how you do a live service game. The game wasn't a $70 game, and it wasn't bare empty. It was like a loaded game, tons to do. It's like a different run every time. There's adding shit to it constantly, new enemies, like the memories we make playing this game. Every time we play it, we're making memories. And it's so fucking fun. It is the epitome of a fun video game. Doesn't do anything revolutionary, doesn't like change the game, but my God, is it fun, and I just want to keep playing it over and over and over. And we've played it all year. Like, hands down my game of the year, no questions asked.
So back onto these games, we got Final Fantasy VII, obviously, Rebirth. Y'all sleeping on Dragon's Dogma 2. It was not a dog shit game. The game was amazing. It gave me everything I wanted inside of Dragon's Dogma. The combat was great.
I wanted to play it.
The classes were great. The environment was great. The exploration was awesome. Dragon's Dogma 2 was an amazing game. It was one of the best RPGs that came out that year. That was it. Like, I don't know. There's so many things. There's so many things about that game that flooded the market immediately, and then people were mad about a whole bunch of nothing. I don't understand like why people didn't like Dragon's Dogma or gave it like mid. It was not a mid game. That was so fun. I spent 65 hours in that game.
Nice.
I loved that game, and I didn't even complete all of the vocations. Like, I made sure that I got through doing all of the character-specific vocations that your little pawns couldn't do, because some vocations the pawns couldn't use. So, like, Mystic Archer, they can't use. So I went through and was doing all the vocations. Dragon's Dogma 2 was awesome. Better than the first one. I don't care what anybody says either. Loved playing that game.
People say the first one's better?
I don't know. I don't know, but if they do, they're wrong, because Dragon's Dogma 2 is awesome.
I mean, the first one's fun. It's just aged poorly.
Like, and here's my problem with this is, in Dragon's Dogma is a great example, is everyone expects these games to be 10s out of 10s.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with a game not being a 10 out of 10.
Absolutely.
Dragon's Dogma 2 was a 10 out of 10 for me, and I loved that game, and there's things about that game that aren't good. Like, there was the game tries to do a in-game time. So time continues inside of the game. You rest. You can rest for a day and then not fast travel, but you can go to sleep and it'll go to the next day. And then depending on how many days happens, things happen. So it has an in-game time system. And if you spend too long sleeping or spend too many days sleeping, it runs up on when events happen inside of the game. Because only you have X amount of days to do some stuff. And it didn't afford me enough time to explore what I wanted to explore and really spend my time in that world before some things happen. So at the end of the game, there's like a giant statue colossus thing that comes to life and walks through and attacks stuff. I completely missed that fight.
Oh, damn.
Because when those cutscenes were happening and it travels through the area and does shit, I was on the other side of the map exploring some fucking bungfuck cave that I found. And then the event happened without me being there. It happened without me being there, and then it ended up ending the same way. But like, I completely missed that entire portion, and I'm pretty sure I missed a trophy that I could have got by doing that, just because I wasn't there and I didn't know. And I wasn't going to roll back my game because I was like, whatever, I don't care. I'm off here in my cave having fun. So Dragon's Dogma is a great game. Also, TCG Card Shop Simulator.
Damn, I didn't even mention that. Yeah, dude.
Such a fun fucking game, and I'm so excited to see what more we're going to add to it.
Yeah.
I think the items on the update map look awesome. So it's like the grading and the playable card game and like all of that stuff that gets added into. I mean, on that map it was trade-ins, and trade-ins got added, and they're still kind of adjusting it for it to make sense. But having the card trade-ins was really cool. So I'm really excited to see like that update map and the travel map and what we're going to do next with this game. I still want to go back to it. I still want to go back and play my little game where you put your items in your shop and then you can open just boxes of cards. I only open 32 pack card boxes, And then when I'm done opening those card boxes, I walk down the street and I bricklay them across the street. So I'm building a wall, and the wall is only made of boxes I've opened cards for.
Holy shit.
Not like the boxes for like inventory for the store. I trash
away.
those. Yeah, I throw those away.
Okay.
So only the walls built on the street are from card boxes. So I can sit there and be like, all of those card boxes I've opened card backs from.
That's hilarious.
So that's what I'm doing in that game. And that was such a just out of nowhere game.
How did I forget about it, man?
I saw a streamer playing it and was like, hold on a second, what is this? You're combining a video game and that dopamine hit of opening card packs? I'm there.
Dude, the hooks are in me. That game was addictive as shit.
That was the easiest buy.
Admittedly, I haven't played it as much since the update, but that's the one I want to revisit. Yeah, fun game.
And I'd have a routine. I'd get up in the morning, I'd feed the cat, I'd get my drink, and I'd sit down, and I would... Every time I'd start the game, I'd always save it right after I ended a day. So when I loaded the game, it's the start of the day. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, ooh, okay, popped in the morning, and I'm going to set up my store. And once I've got my store completely set up and I've spent all my money, then I look to see how much money I have left over, and then I buy a box of every single style. So I'll sit there, and then I lay them out on the street. I open my cards in the street. That's how you're supposed to do it. We don't open them in the shop. We open the card packs out on the street, okay? You have to find a weird spot, and you have to open them out on, like, a spot on the street, and that's where you get your hits from. There's a little tree I open up all mine. So I lay out all my card boxes on the ground, and then I pull packs from them.
That's funny.
And then I open up my 5 boxes of cards, and then I go through my store, and I open the store for a day and make my money, and then I save it, and then I get off. Like, that was what I would do every day, is I'd pop in and play my TCC card shop simulator game for like an hour and a half and open fucking packs. And then I'd get off and go play something else.
Nice.
That was my daily routine for a while, because like some days that was all I was able to do because I was busy with some other stuff. Or I'd come home from work and all I was able to do was spend an hour in a game, and I'm like, I'm opening card packs.
It's like a perfect pick up and play game, dude.
Yeah. So I also want to shout out Balatro. That game was really good. And if you are into roguelikes, it's a weird game for me at first, that I was like, what? I don't understand a roguelike card game. But once you start playing it, you start understanding how this game functions, and you're like, oh, I can get a better hand next time. Oh, next time I think I know how to do this combo better. Oh, I want to try this on the next... Oh, I got a new deck unlocked. And so it kind of does feed that small dose addiction. Soundtrack slaps, and it deserved the recognition it got. So, Balatro, if you haven't played it, it's on like every platform.
Yeah, even mobile, I think.
Yes, it is also on mobile. So...
Yeah, it's one I didn't play. It's definitely different. It's interesting hearing you. It's a game I didn't think you'd play.
No, I'm not into rogues. It was Kyle who told me it was amazing.
And cards. I don't think I've ever heard you talk about cards, except for like
I like
Gwent,
card games.
Gwent.
I like card games a lot. I was really into Hearthstone when it came out.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it just got too much of... I just couldn't keep up, and I was like, I'm not buying shit.
Yeah.
So, Balatro was interesting, and like I like deck building in card games, but the roguelike thing confused me. It was a weird combination.
Yeah.
But it works. It works really well. And it's addicting to play. The graphics are cool. The style of the game is awesome. Sound effects and the soundtrack is really good. I love the soundtrack.
I'll give it a shot, man.
It's a fun game. Next time I come over, I'll bring my Steam Deck and you can play it.
Bet.
It's fun to play on a Steam Deck. Just pop it up on the couch. Boop.
I thought about getting it for mobile because, like, you know, bathroom breaks at work or whatever. Be perfect.
That's kind of my standouts of the year for me.
I think you already said it. I was going to bring up, what game do you think didn't get enough recognition? I think Dragon's Dogma 2 for you.
Absolutely.
For me, Rise of the Ronin. I didn't play it as much as I wanted to. Something else came out and I got distracted. But the time I spent with that game, I was like, this game is really solid. I don't understand why the reviews are so mediocre for it.
I do remember Rise of the Ronin coming out at the same time as another game, but a lot of the reviews were, it looks like a 2008 PS3 game.
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't like you're saying, everybody expects every PlayStation exclusive to be a 10 out of 10.
Right.
Fun game, bro. And if you like feudal Japan with, like, pick your abilities and you can go stealth, you can go loud. Like, the combat was really good, man. Story seemed pretty... I didn't beat it, but the story I was playing, I was very invested in the story. It was really interesting.
Definitely one on my list, too. Yeah,
I'm going to go back and finish it because, like, I enjoyed my time with it for sure. And I don't hear anybody talk about it, not even the slightest anymore. So what about you guys? What do you think were some of the unsung games of 2024? What are you looking forward to 2025? Let us know in the comment section, in Discord, wherever. Collecti-Bros Pod and all social medias. Barry, what is next?
So the first episode of 2025 is the bane of my existence. Greatest hits. Greatest hits, player's choice, platinum hits, any of that stuff. So we're going to talk about it, why I hate it, is it necessary, why are some of them so expensive comparatively.
Bro, we're gonna need podiums for this one because we're very different collectors.
Oh yeah,
I'm
soapbox.
like, this makes up more PlayStation.
Soapbox. I'll be on my soapbox a lot. Yeah, we're gonna talk
have
about
some
that
debate
one.
on this one. This will be
Yeah,
fun.
we will. So, greatest hits, platinum hits, player's choice,
Collectively, fuck player's choice, though, right? I mean,
and does it have a spot in collecting?
yes.
The answer is no.
See, look at that. That'll be a fun one, guys. But thanks for tuning in. We had a ton of growth in 2024 with the YouTube launching. Like, we got a lot more coming with that. I mean, kind of ran out of time, but I'm really excited for what 2025 holds. I still love doing this. My passion's burning even brighter now, honestly. We got a lot of things in the future planned that are going to be fun starting this year. So thank you all tremendously for listening. It's crazy and blows my mind that people actually give a shit about this. Like, I love it. I love doing this. Thank you all. Stay oppressed, y'all. Break through that glass ceiling. Ching. Stay oppressed, gamers.
See ya.
Bye.